people can start moving downstairs.
All right, boat ride, people.
Oh, boat ride.
Boat people, boat people.
I have my son. Oh, you have your son. See how it looks.
Oh, your head.
What about my head?
The boat that we're gonna get on is gonna pull up next to this boat here, and we're gonna walk across this boat onto our boat.
Let's see. There's the Chinese fire drill. This is the Russian boat drill. Got it.
Yeah, totally.
Caddies, where are the caddy guys?
On the cap.
Let's get weird.
Turn it down.
Is anybody happy here?
No.
Is everybody happy to be here?
No.
All right. So, the little St. Petersburg excursions on the canals and rivers began.
We love Amsterdam.
Crossing the Moika
Can't
River,
hear you.
which is
This is like one of those things they have in Italy. What are those things called?
Gonzalo boat ride?
Yeah. It's just like that, huh?
How do you say it? Gonzalo?
Gorgonzola.
Gondola.
Gondola. I got married on a gondola boat in Las Vegas.
At the Venetian.
The Venetian in Venice, Las
It's
Vegas.
very Venice-ish.
Everybody on MySpace. I invited everyone on MySpace.
How many people actually came?
About 5 or 6.
Ah.
I invited everybody at the last hour.
Yeah, he invited everyone in the band 4 hours before the wedding.
Not everyone.
Oh, not smelly.
Everybody on MySpace.
I got my text invitation about 4 hours before the wedding, and I tried to get a flight, but just couldn't make it.
I wrote on MySpace 4 hours before the wedding to see how many people would show up. I think like 5 or 6 people showed up.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Damn, that's gotta hurt. Look how low that tunnel is.
Ow, that would hurt. That would hurt. That would hurt, huh, Smelly? Boing!
Hey, duck,
I hit it.
Oh, sweet. Usually I think stuff is overrated. Doing stuff is overrated, but I'm actually excited to be here in Russia. You know, we grew up in the Ronald Reagan era, and not friendly. Soviets in the U.S., not friendly. Never ever thought you'd be playing a gig in the Soviet Union. So it's pretty special to be here. I mean, we could travel all kinds of places around the world, but never thought I'd be here playing the show. You really expect it to be different, but people and kids are the same everywhere. They're just all the same. Little nuances different, but they're just all the same. People just want to be happy and live their life. And see no effects. Pretty much the universal way of thinking around the world. Happiness, freedom of expression, and seeing no effects.
I feel very fortunate to be here. I was really sketched and nervous about coming in. I wasn't sure we were going to make it again. And I know when we were on the train, I was like, uh-oh, and Jeff had his whole deal going. Sitting next to me, using my coat to cover up his little camera, and I was like, fuck.
And being Mexican, they have this, much bigger fear of crossing borders than we do. So crossing this border for him, I can't imagine what that must felt like.
It was pretty nerve-wracking.
And when Jefe got into the United States, he didn't have to cross the river anywhere near as big as this one.
No, this is like 5 times the size of the river that I have ever crossed.
It feels like we're slowly closing this gap between places that I thought we'd never be and places we've been. At first, the map, the world was the United States. Was places in Nebraska and Texas and Florida, places we hadn't been. At least in my mind, to think of all the places we could go as a band and hadn't been yet, it was a map of the U.S.
We had so much trouble just getting into Canada. in the 80s. That was a huge hurdle, and we got denied so many times.
It was too scary to try to even think about someplace like China or Thailand.
This is a funny story. One of the first times, it was the first time we tried to go to Canada. It was 1985, and we're taking our van over, and the lady said, "All right, you guys don't have any drugs or anything like that?" "No, nothing." And she looked under the driver's seat where I was sitting and pulled out a bong that had pot in it. I'm like, "It's not mine." She goes, "Okay, what else? You're not trying to sell any you don't have any merchandise, do you?" We have no merch. You know, we have some T-shirts. We give them away, but we're not selling them. So she opened up a box in the back of the van and said, "T-shirts, $6."
When I joined, all I knew is that they've been to Europe, Canada, and States.
Yeah, that's it. Mexico, but
Yes.
Tijuana.
You guys know Tijuana? That doesn't count.
It was really interesting because when we asked him to join the band, we weren't really doing nothing. And the band he was just in got signed to a major label and things were really taking off.
Yeah.
So he was like, pretty bummed. You know, okay, I'll join a punk band. Where's that gonna lead?
Yeah, for real, I was like, fuck, is this what I'm left with? A fucking punk rock band? And my singer gets signed solo, $1 million record deal. They're talking about putting him on tour with the Lenny Kravitz, the Stones, and like all these huge stars. I'm just like,
And now look at us!
I joined the band in '91 and no regrets. I made the right decision. I was actually talking to the band members of that band, the Mercury band, and they're like, dude, NoFX is gonna offer you a full quarter. A full quarter. You're gonna be a partner. And in this band, you're just a hired musician. You get paid to go on tour, and I think I was gonna get a point, maybe 2 points on the records. So they helped me make the decision. I remember I made a phone call to Mike, and I was like, let me talk about it first. And Mike's like, come on. So I called you back, and I was like, okay, I'm in, I'm doing it.
When he joined that year, I think we each made $8,000 in 91, which is enough to, you know, survive for sure.
Fuck, more than I was used to.
None of us had jobs, so.
I was living off of $400 a month. So to me, I was like, I'm fucking set for life.
If you guys, one of you would like to go get behind the wheel, you're welcome.
I want to drive.
I'm gonna watch you.
My name is Hefe.
Nice to meet you.
Oh shit! Sailing, sailing over the ocean blue. Wow, this is so cool. Yeah. Dude, I'm steering a boat in Russia.
Steve quit the band at the worst time possible. Rib came out, we were going to Europe, and it was going good. We were actually making a little bit of a living off of it, but evidently he wasn't making enough, and he thought he'd go back to playing heavy metal where the real money was and real stardom was.
Yeah, he started a rock band.
Started a rock band.
Because with a guitar player that knew Slash.
And about 6 months later, Nevermind came out.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to kick him out, for sure. I mean, he was a good member of the band.
Although once we pulled over at a gas station when we were sleeping in our van, and he was a pretty big alcoholic at the time, and he came out with a few beers, and we're like, dude, where'd you score those beers? He's like, oh, over in the store. We're like, they didn't have any beer. We're like, yeah, they do. They have this root beer. He bought root beers.
Thought he was getting some brews.
He was just such an alcoholic. He's like, oh, beer. I never heard of this root brand, but.
Yeah, there was times when there was threats that I was going to get kicked out, but I knew it was never going to happen. But then, when Mike came to the closet that I was living in and said, "Give me all your drugs. You're getting clean, or you are gone." And
you're not playing on this record.
Yeah, you're not playing on this record, and if you don't go to rehab, we're just going to get another drummer and you're out.
So he had some sock somewhere, and he pulled out all these needles and all this heroin. He's like, here you go. I was like, ugh. And then about an hour later, he goes, okay, here's the rest of it.
I hung onto one balloon. What did you do with that stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what I did with it.
Because I was thinking, after you left, I was like, he had to have ditched it near because he wasn't gonna fucking drive around with it. No, there was times, and I knew that if I lost the band, then my life would be hopeless. Had no family, had no friends, had no reason to continue. I was pretty much at that point a street junkie, street level junkie, you know, hustling to make 10 bucks to get well.
Steve and Eric Melvin wanted him out of the band because he's doing heroin, and I wouldn't let him do that. I figured you guys are addicts too. It's a different drug.
There was a conversation that him and I had that I'm going to continue doing drugs, like I was not done with it, but if it ever gets in the way of the band, then, you know, I didn't get in the way of the band for a long time, but then it finally did.
And we started making some serious money. And if he started making 20, 30 grand a year, his habit would have become ridiculous. And then it would have been really, really hard to stop. And you know, all his friends that were junkies with him at the time, they're all dead.
Sorry.
Land ho!
St. Petersburg, been there.